you guys don't know this because obviously we don't have a camera facing that way, and we will never. But so where John is sitting for the last couple of weeks, he's been on this little stool that I have. And it's for set. It's for when you have literally no space to yourself, and it's the last resort.
Yeah.
I've had him sitting on that stool the last 2 weeks, and it was a downgrade from the beanbag that he had for a minute.
Yeah.
But this week I put in the extra work because I don't know, I felt like
because he deserved it.
And deserves something nice. Right?
It's like when you first get a pet hamster in one of those little plastic cages, and you're like, oh, that's not humane.
Exactly.
Yes, and now we got him a better setup.
Yeah. A nice little, but now he's in my line of sight, like direct line of sight.
So you have to look right at him now.
Yeah, now I have to, which is fine.
It's practice for your FaceTime calls.
He called me this morning.
Yeah, you told me.
And he was surprised when I didn't sound ecstatic about it.
Oh, you just need to wear him down more, John. It'll work. Just keep at it, Robert.
It feels like when a prison guard is beating you.
When have you had that experience?
Well, just hear me out, okay?
Okay.
It's like when a prison guard is beating you and you keep telling yourself that you're going to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, you don't even have a phase of, I'm used to this. It goes from this is unpleasant and new to skipping over that phase right to, I just hate this forever now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I hope things look up for you guys.
Point is, I will never get used to FaceTime. You know, it would be kind of cool, though, with the Apple Vision Pro thing coming out.
Oh.
That would be kind of cool. But it's more invasive, you know, because that would actually make me feel like I'm in the future. To John's point, saying that FaceTime is the future and, wow, you can see somebody from far away, whatever. I think if you actually had the goggles on, that would be different. Because now it's ever closer to actually you being here.
I thought that's what you hated about it.
You know, as I said it, I realized that I would hate that more.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I just want to mention the fact that, like, we, in 1,000 years, we went from smoke signals to being able to see each other in our pockets. Okay.
Smoke signals.
Like, come on now.
You know the pyramids were made like 2,000 years ago, right?
I mean, how were we talking to each other 1,000 years ago?
Like long distance, you mean?
Yeah.
You would just send a dude and he would just say the words you said to him to a different person.
He was like, oh man, I forgot. I ran all the way here.
Like, don't you remember that? You know why a marathon is called a marathon?
Yeah, because like some Greek dude had to like deliver the news, right?
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
did, like multiple times.
At the end of the
then
war.
He died.
No, just one time.
Oh, just the one time?
Just the one time he ran the marathon and then he
died.
died.
What a loser, dude. He didn't do any cardio.
You're like, lots of people have run marathons and lived. Come on, guy. What were you doing?
He was the first guy to do that, though. So, anyway.
Yeah. Well,
enough about FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this will shock everyone. We did the 48-hour challenge again.
That's right.
Yeah. We did it. Or rather, John and I did it with our friend On, who we've just talked about on the show quite a bit before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel?
I mean, not gonna lie, it's been what month is it? Oh, it's November.
Yeah.
It's been like 5-6 months since I've been on a set. So the last set I was on was for TrainREC. Or the 48-hour, actually. No, actually, it's only been like 2 months.
Yeah, because you guys did it with Narain.
Yeah. And we did, I think you guys might have done a different one, too. It might have been like an independent one. Because
yeah, I don't know. I don't know who was running this competition. I never found that out. I guess it's like a different regional thing or different, I don't know what. But, I mean, we did it anyway. We got a little movie out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, judging by the paperwork and the logo, it doesn't look like it was run by the usual 48-hour SJ.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever the acronyms are.
And then this year, we got it combined.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess it must have been an independent group of people, which is actually really cool. You know, I like city specific challenges, just because it's. I mean, I know that you guys and On aren't from San Francisco, but I just feel like when you have a competition like that, instead of lumping all these people together, you get like a smaller group. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that I don't like competition. It's just that, when it's more of a smaller location, you get a more community vibe from people. At least when we had the San Jose one, that's what I thought.
Yeah, usually when we do the San Jose one, we know a lot of people on the other teams and stuff.
We know half the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But you guys did that.
Yeah.
And
it was an interesting, you just never know how it's going to go. Because I think I remember I texted you at like 3 p.m. or you texted me and you're like, how's it going? And I was like, we've done 3 shots.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, man. I was like 10 minutes late, right? And Tino was already texting me like, oh my God, they need you. So I was like rushing at that one point, right? Like flying through the streets type beat. And as soon as I show up on set, it was just as like any other set would be, right?
Yeah.
We're like 4 hours behind. We're still setting up for the first shot. I was the last man on call too. Like everyone else's call time was like 9 or 8.
Yeah,
my call time was 12.
It took a very long time. But what's funny is we still only went over because we were supposed to be there 8 to 8.
Yeah.
And we ended at like 8:30 still. So
yeah, it's really good actually.
Yeah, somehow worked out.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, like big props to On. Like I don't know how she was able to just wrap it all up in 12 and a half hours.
It's all kind of a blur to me, especially like the end. I was so tired. I was script supervisor again, and it was the first time I guess in a while that I've been a script supervisor.
Yeah.
It's not like my best skill.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say.
But it is a skill you have.
It is a skill. It's something that I can like physically do, I guess. But there was definitely at some point where I was like not performing like the best I've ever done. Just your brain turns to mush during these.
That's because you have to focus on so much.
There's a lot going on. We did a lot of takes for a lot of things. There's some stuff I definitely did not. I did not wake up in time to check for continuity.
My least favorite thing about being a script supervisor, because I've done it a couple of times, not a lot, but it's something I've touched. It's when you think you're doing a really good job, you go, oh, I took note of like what hand he raised.
Yeah, you feel so good when you do that. You're like, oh, I noticed.
And then they ask you something along the lines of, where did this cup start at the beginning of the scene? Like, where did he have it? And then you go, that's not, we're going to have to check the footage. And then they're like, isn't that what you're...
I feel so bad when that happens. I don't know. It's a hard job. And you also feel like a total dick because then you have to like interrupt stuff. You
gotta stop people.
I feel like such an asshole. There was this line that we only had 2 actors. And the guy actor, he has to order a caramelized coffee. Yeah. Caramelized, like, I guess, a creme brulee kind of hot coffee. Right. But it sounds so much like caramel iced that it sounds like he's asking for a hot caramel iced coffee. Yeah. And I feel like there's a train. I felt like such a dick stopping for things like that because it makes me sound so nitpicky, which I am, but it's also not very, it's not, doesn't make you feel like a fun person when you're making things take longer and you're giving more and more notes than the director.
It's worth it in the end, though. I like it when a script supervisor just interrupts me and says, "Hey, you have that wrong." I mean, that's why I loved Emma when we were working on TrainREC. She would yell, especially because we were so crowded. She'd have to be further in the back. Yeah, so she'd be like, "Hey!"
she is really good at being a script supervisor.
Yeah, she's great.
It's not my top thing, but I do it.
Also, to that point, I 100% agree. Like, like it may suck in the moment. Like, who cares, right? But I think the old adage of measure twice, cut once, like 100% applies to film, because once you shoot that and you leave, like it takes so much effort for you to come back and reshoot it again. Yeah. Just get it right.
It's like it's for your own good, guys. I promise.
Yeah.
But then also it's like there wasn't going to be a reshoot, obviously, because it was the 48-hour thing. So we got what we got.
Yeah, you know, I've only went back once on a 48 hour to do something, and
What was that for?
A year later, it's still not done.
What?
Yeah, I remember the
the Lisp thing.
Yeah, the Lisp.
Oh, okay.
So, but we shot everything, but it took us a minute to get it all together.
I felt crazy because I could have sworn you guys like dropped that video.
We didn't. We released one social media post.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have just been it.
It looked really cool because I had some really great BTS pictures for it.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of movie making,
mm-hmm.
we're shooting tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
And guess what? You guys are never gonna guess what we're shooting tomorrow.
That's right. Wait, can I talk about it?
You guys never have to ask me for permission to talk about anything.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
I just like your advice. That's all. Well, tomorrow we're shooting the final piece of TrainREC,
mm-hmm.
and it's been in the works for a minute.
Yeah.
And it really a good exercise of what to do when things go really wrong, because I guess it doesn't matter if we talk about it. We're just being honest.
Yeah, you can talk.
What happened is there was a series of, you know, when a company makes a decision
mm-hmm.
and when the product comes out, everybody looks around and goes, how the fuck did this get through so many people and made it out to the public?
That happened to us.
Yeah, exactly. A decision got passed Narain, John, and me because of just reasons. You know, sometimes you make a decision that you think is good in the moment, and it doesn't work out the way you want it.
Let's just be honest. It was just complete negligence from the three of us. Like,
yes.
I don't know, like, how honest I can be upon this subject.
Yeah.
But like, pretty much we put someone's father in a role that required a really, really good handle on humor and like subtle timings, right? Because this was supposed to be like the funniest character in the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a burden way too big for just an average dad who
So,
has no interest in
to
acting.
clarify, by the way, not only I would personally say, and I know you probably would have some feelings about this, I would actually give this person the credit of being an actor.
Yeah, no, me too.
He's definitely an actor. It's the problem is that we did not play to his strengths. That was the problem.
Yeah.
And sometimes not all actors are the same, and sometimes you forget that.
Mm-hmm. So
that's what happened. A scene didn't go the way we wanted it to, and then we were put in a position where we go, okay, well, it's honestly it's a multifaceted problem with multiple departments, because it also falls on production, because production is the people who take care of all the permits and where are we going to go to shoot this and to begin with. And the problem came up that after we went there, we couldn't go back. And that happens sometimes. It doesn't matter where you go. Sometimes you don't have enough money. Sometimes it was a freebie, like a one-time freebie. So in this case, we could not go back to that shooting location. So it kind of left us in this place of, okay, well, we can't go back. So what do we do? You know? So you go, can we cut around it? No. Can we, I don't know, literally do anything else? Can we move on without it? No.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes, okay, well, now it falls on, we should rewrite it. And so we went through the pain of rewriting a scene and then trying to make it fulfill a certain role in the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
And this is the best we got. And so now we have to put it all together, and that's what we're shooting tomorrow. So it was definitely a learning thing of like, how do we even go about a rewrite with the specific purpose, getting a crew together. Because once you're out of production into post, there's an element of, I don't know about you, John, but going back to do something, there is this in everybody, you know what I mean? Because people don't have a problem going back to do something for you necessarily, but there is this sense of, oh, you have to go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like someone putting a spell on you and going like, now you're going 0.75 the speed that you were before. There's something about being in post that just makes things drag when you have to go back and do something again. So it's not a great feeling, but it is something that I think for me personally, getting to tomorrow, that I learned to kind of cope with, especially effectively. Now I know how to do things a little fast. Really, it just boils down to will.
Yeah.
You just have to will yourself into another shoe, which is easier said than done.
But we're very willing to finish this tomorrow.
Yes, 100%.
I hope that's what happens.
Yeah. I don't care how many people I have to beat into the ground. I will get this shoot done.
Yeah. Though I do think in a way having to rewrite the scene was an upgrade, just because I think what we came up with is more meaningful.
Yeah.
Because the original concept was this funny character who didn't actually have like a meaningful connection to the protagonist would have his moment. And it was really funny. I mean, I can say that because I wrote it, but it could have gone really well. Mm-hmm. But it was also missing a little bit of that more emotional core in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes things are definitely for the better. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how this is going to turn out, obviously, but I just remember from Cool Ranch, I missed a lot of the scenes that we originally had in there, but for environmental reasons, not that I give a shit about the planet. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about, during the shoot, there was cars going by, or the lighting just wasn't right on this person's face. Because of those reasons, we had to cut out multiple pieces of one scene's dialogue. Mm-hmm. And I thought it cut it down to like the bare bones. I was like, oh man, is there any way we can add back these lines or whatever? And I ended up watching the final product, and the way it moves through that scene, it was a very Hollywood move of those characters are saying what they need to say, and that's it. Mm-hmm. The other lines that were in the scene might have been nice and fluffy and, oh, these characters are having a moment, but it's definitely, and there was good motivation, right? One character was absolutely done with the other. Mm-hmm. So that in the edit, the way it looks is like she's being way more curt with him than it originally was when we shot it. It looked like she was being more sympathetic to him, but the way the final product came together, I was really happy with it,
Yeah, it turned out well.
Yeah.
I think with TrainREC, we made it, we used, what we ended up being able to do was use that script real estate to give a couple of the characters some more human moments.
Yeah.
I think we have a problem with one of the characters where he's kind of just an idiot, Yes. So
yeah, I was actually really excited about that we wrote. Mm-hmm. I think it's always nice to give an actor more screen time,
Yeah, we're giving him another chance to do something more substance, I guess, because he's been comic relief for the whole thing, and he wasn't even in the original version of this scene,
right?
So he was just going to show up at the end. But now we did something like smarter with the time we have left. I don't mean that to like rag on like our past selves with what we have before, but it's like it evolved, we ended up making some more choices with it that were more emotional, more character driven, more redeeming for both of the characters involved, because the only interaction they've had until that point is one of them being really mean to the other, and then the other guy is just like being stupid, like he is consistently. But I think this will help.
I mean, if you want to talk about like general improvements that you made to our script, especially like in terms of character work, I think Ivanka is like the biggest improvement that you've made.
I agree, to be honest. Like I'll take credit for Ivanka, sure.
Yeah, because not only was she like just two-dimensional, she was literally just like a plot device for easy to like get over, right?
Exactly.
Like, we totally antagonized her. It's like just one like concept.
Just for clarification, she's like an ex-girlfriend character.
Right.
So in the original version, she was just like the bitchy ex, and there wasn't really a reason given for why they broke up. It was just like, and it sort of framed her as like, oh, she broke up with him. How evil can you be? You know, it's like, how dare she break up with Easy, the best guy in the world. So, the most hardworking guy, then we're all on his side. But the Easy was missing, and Easy's one of the main characters. Sorry, we keep bringing people up and not explaining who exactly. He's one of the main characters. And what we had to do to make the characters better is both give a reason for the breakup, and make it Easy's fault.
Yeah.
Because until then, he's just been like the hardworking guy who has his shit together, has a job, is more of an adult, knows what he's doing, but he didn't have any flaws, really. So why not make him just a kind of a film school douchebag, who would condescend to his girlfriend who was also in the film program, and also lost a bunch of her equipment in this one event that happens at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it made more sense that they broke up, and also now, since he's still hung up on her, he has this thing to overcome where he has to both get over her and also come to terms. Like, I'm talking about this in terms of like if there was a season arc, if we kept going, which we're not going to, but it's like now he's set up in this hypothetical season arc to figure out like, oh, I'm not perfect. I really messed up. I need to come to terms with that and make myself better.
Yeah. I think that would be a great episode too, actually. To like, because I know that we focus more on the other protagonist for the first episode, but I think that's a great episode 2 thing to go, man, maybe I should like look inward.
Yeah. Or even later than that, I was thinking what I sort of pictured, I don't know about you guys, but if he'd fallen for another girl, and he didn't want to mess that up.
Right.
And maybe this girl is more direct than Ivanka was, and she's like, hey, don't fucking talk to me like that, something like that. And then he's all confused, like, oh, why doesn't she want me to talk to her like that? That's so weird. I used to talk to Ivanka like that all the time.
Right.
Oh,
that I was gonna say that's actually probably better than what I was gonna add.
Yeah.
Which is I would want to see him like put his old hopes and desires on a new person.
Oh yeah.
And have the new person like almost realize, whoa, hey, this feels familiar. Like, are you doing? I'm not your ex, you know what I mean? So yeah,
he would try to make her a supporting character in his life, or just like his assistant.
It kind of reminds me of the Flight of the Conchords, where the two protagonists are into this one girl.
Yeah,
and one of them dated her in the past, but his friend, the other protagonist, is now going out with her. But they're both super attracted to her, and like she's just this magnet for problems in their lives. And the guy who originally dated her, he has a new thing going on. She's a really nice girl and everything. But in one of the episodes, they start competing for the ex. And the new girl is like, hey, I'm like right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you guys need to work your shit out before you start.
That's what she does by the end of the episode too. She's like, I have way too much self-respect to like be hanging out with you. Like, this is fucking stupid.
Isn't that true though? Sometimes a guy just needs to meet a woman with self-respect to realize what he's been doing wrong his whole life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
crazy. But yeah, she was upgraded, and yeah, because that was also the thing about what went in the original version of the script. I was also thinking, like, who would want to audition for this? There's like no, we can't say anything about her. Like, writing that part of the casting call was difficult too, just because it was before some of those big rewrites that we did.
Yeah.
And like, luckily we knew people. We knew some actresses who were down to try out for it. And then by the time we got an actress who nailed the audition, I was like, okay, I have to give her something, because she was really good.
Yeah, she was good.
So I was like, let's make this worth it,
Yeah. Yes, isn't it?
I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, especially when episode 1 is not even done.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, if there is an episode 2, the base story and log line is already made.
Oh, really?
Oh.
And it's something I would direct,
Mhm.
and I would be super happy to create, because me and Narain have written 3 episodes
Mhm.
of like Rec, the story itself,
Right.
of like the entire story,
Mhm.
and 2 is my favorite of all time.
Oh,
It's
sure,
just
okay.
that usually we never get far enough to film an episode 2.
Right.
It's what I based my Dianza intermediate final off of, Shoy Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was based off the episode 2 script.
Nice.
Oh.
So
Alright.
yeah, stay tuned. Let's see
Ooh.
if we still have the stamina and
I-
the money available
Yeah.
for an episode 2.
I would love to know what you had planned for that.
Yeah. Speaking of writing, if the 5 people who follow the show, including Belgium, which hi,
Hi, Belton.
I love you so much. Well, you'd know that I a long time ago was trying to write something very personal or whatever.
Right.
So On invited me out to do like a writing session, and I was I know what I'm going to talk. I told you what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
But something that came to mind right as I'm bringing it up is I don't know what happened. I don't know what motivated me to write. Oh, I mean, I guess it's the fact. So a friend of ours is trying to get good at cinematography, whatever. So I figured, and Alan has been taking classes, and
Right.
apparently he's a good actor.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And I'm a whatever actor. I can do it if I get trained through it. I'm not the best, but
You're pretty good, I think.
oh, thank you.
Oh.
I figured though, because we both kind of have a sense of, I like working with somebody who knows how to work through a scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I figured, why not me and him act something out? And then as I got to the writing session, I realized I don't really have any ideas of what to write. And then I figured, well, I have one thing that I can write. And it was a scene between me and Alan in my personal story, or in the personal script that I was writing. There is supposed to be a scene that mirrors conversations I've had with Alan over a period of time. And I figured, well, that's a good basis to write it. So I finally have like an outline for it. And it was interesting to me because it reminds me of why I stepped away from it to begin with. And it was that personal, because when you start writing something personal and you see it on the page and you go, oh boy, do I even want to look at that?
Yeah.
It's so hard. I was in the cafe with him, and I was talking out loud, and I go, I was an exercise of, oh, I have to just get it out, because I kept saying like, oh, this is gonna be a shitty line.
Yeah.
It's
like, well, yeah, it is going to be. You have to get it on the page.
Yeah.
But that's the point of it. Yeah.
I wrote one of my favorite things that I wrote in that session. So the thing I was explaining to you is that so I'm writing this not with the objective of putting it in my script, but with the objective of just write a scene where one of them is just an objective based scene, kind of like how Larry David would write for Curb, right? There is no dialogue. It just, here's what needs to happen by the end. And so I wrote it as my character is trying to be affirmed by his friend because he's feeling insecure and this and that. And Alan's character is supposed to be this guy who's not, he's very carefree and he's almost too nice. And so, but I push him, and that's the whole point, right? To get to that maximum effort. So I push him to, by the end of the scene, there's like there's 3 times where I try to get him to affirm me. And the last one, I asked the most ridiculous question, which I feel like even in real life, someone asked you this, you'd have the same reaction. I ask him in the script, I go, hey, do you think I'm a good guy? Which is such a setup. It's such a disgusting question that in the script or in the outline that I wrote, I have him turn to my character and go, why would you even ask me that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was very much it was, I don't know, it was cathartic. It was like a mirror, looking into a mirror. It was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I write is based on IRL kinds of interactions or hard pills to swallow that I've had to swallow, like these lessons that I've had to learn. And that are hard to admit sometimes even.
Yeah.
And you process them by writing them out, and it sort of puts when you're just watching the characters go through it, so you can sort of put yourself out of the situation, and it feels a little better that way.
Yeah. Even I feel like even if some wounds scab over, they still hurt. But for example, and this is a great moment we had too. I love this too when you're writing with somebody and you both get the same idea at the same time. I was telling Alan in the scene, right? Just as a basis for how I wanted it to go, I have 3 moments, right, where I kind of break him down into finally turning around and saying something not mean spirited, just honest, right? And I remember going, I'm missing the middle part of how I want to connect this conversation to the end, right? Because the way I start I totally am the bad guy in the entire conversation.
Yeah, and you don't end up getting what you wanted, right?
100%. No, I don't get what I want. But what I ended up telling Alan in the scene is, or I showed him the outline, the beginning of it. I make myself the bad guy. It's pretty slimy because I'm making it appear that I'm talking to my friend because I want to apologize to him. Meanwhile, all I want to do is talk about my girl troubles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're misleading him. You're manipulating him a little bit. Yeah.
Which is so terrible, you know. Even in the outline I write what he really wants is to talk about Sophia.
Yeah.
So I have this moment in the scene where I tell Alan, I kind of want you to not wound me, not hurt me, but I want you to be just painfully honest, you know? And in one part, I go, what's something that would hurt? In the script, the name of my character is Billy. So I go, what would hurt Billy the most? And it's funny because immediately, Alan, without even talking to me, without skipping a beat, he just goes, oh. He starts writing.
Yeah.
And I don't see what he's writing, but it hits me in the same moment. I go, oh shit, I know exactly what would hurt him the most. And then I go to Alan and I go, I can't explain this because it's too personal to me. But all it took was just me saying this one thing. I say to Alan, is it the time thing? And he looks at me, he goes, that's exactly what I was writing down right now. And it was just that, yeah. And so we just had the same idea, and it completed the puzzle of how this whole scene is supposed to flow and go.
Yeah. So it goes like your character is trying to sort of leads in with this misleading opening to the conversation.
Yeah.
And then his character, he says something that hurts you, and then you get more intense about.
Yeah, because I feel like that really works for the scene too, because even as I say it out loud, I think I lead him into it by accident too. I ask in the scene, I think I asked something along the lines of, you would do, that's what I say. I say, you'd do anything for a friend, right? And he goes, yeah, it's awful, right? It's just awful. And he goes, I mean, yeah, I'd do anything for you. And then I go, yeah, well, you know, this isn't that, which leads to the time thing. And he even realized, Peter's the name of Alan's character. Peter realizes, oh, he's trying to talk to me about this other thing. So he's not really even sorry for what he said earlier. And he takes that and he doesn't even shove it in my face, you know? He kind of gives it a pass and you can kind of tell. And it also just ends up, you know, he just painfully obvious, just getting to the point by the end of like, hey, like, I can't be nice to you about this. This is just what you're doing. Yeah. You know?
Is it like it's a conversation that your character probably tries to have a lot and he's just sick of it?
Yeah, Peter, right? Like Alan's character. Yeah, definitely. I even told Alan when we actually do go shoot this scene, it has to feel like we've had this conversation 1,000 times before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just him being so sick of it.
He's done being nice.
Exactly. Yeah. But I even wrote it, one of the objectives in the scene is Peter going to choose to be a good friend or is Peter going to choose to be a great friend? And I feel like a
Yeah.
great friend would just tell you the truth.
Would be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was really fun writing that, and
I can see why it's hard though, because we have to think about times when we were Billy. It's like tell me what I want to hear.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Just
trying
over and over whenever I ask for it.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do is make him tell me something I want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really fun. Yeah. So stay tuned.
Glad that worked
I'll
out.
shoot that
Is that's still, you want to make the whole film?
I do want to make the whole thing. I think this is like a crucial first step though that I just gotta
writing it.
Yeah, I have to go through it. I'll definitely share it with you. If I can push myself.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can write it.
You just push yourself. You push yourself.
I basically have a fall break or whatever because I don't work for the rest of the month.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh God. It doesn't mean I'm free, okay, guys.
You're like, leave me alone.
Anyway.
Yeah. I was thinking about that Adam Sandler movie that came out like a month ago, I think.
Which one?
It's the one that he has his daughters in and his wife. So
What?
it's on Netflix. It's called You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah.
Oh, what the fuck?
It's
Okay.
so good.
I think I did see what movie you're talking about. Is it really good?
I really liked it. Yeah.
Okay.
And, if, in case anyone watching needs some Jew positivity, I doubt it. But if you are, you should totally watch that movie. It's very sweet, and also you get vibes from Adam Sandler that he's like a really good girl dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because his actual daughters are in it, playing his daughters.
Are they younger or are they?
So one of them is playing a 12-year-old, obviously because she's getting ready for her bat mitzvah, right?
Oh, true.
Yeah, and then the other one's a bit older. But it's just so I have to check if he actually wrote this, but he really did justice to like preteen girls,
Really?
I like that he made them so gross. Because it's like
so
they're still
true.
kids, and there's like all these kinds of gross out moments that they have, like they're going through puberty, they're having their periods and shit like that, and they're they going through like similar sort of like self-exploration and self-discovery that boys do.
Definitely.
And also the comedy in that.
To clarify, I will say though, it's not exclusive to one gender or the other.
Yeah.
Teenagers are just fucking gross.
They're gross. They're gross.
So gross.
But that's just a normal part of it, and also it's just so funny.
That it is funny.
It's so funny, and I like that he lets girls be gross. I've been liking a lot of shows that let young girls just like be gross.
Damn, Pen 15 is really up there for that.
That one, yeah, which that one's even that gets me even harder because it takes place like the same time that I was like that age. It takes place in the early 2000s, and I'm like, damn.
It's also very accurate.
Yeah.
As someone who had a lot of girlfriends, not like relationship, but like a lot of girls who were my friends.
Yeah.
Growing up, I definitely got a glimpse of all that shit.
Yeah.
I actually was not grossed out back then, but not nowadays.
It's just so funny, like having these girls talking about periods and queefing and stuff. Like they just found out it existed. Yeah. And it's just and I just really liked it. I'm gonna have to find out if he was. I mean, he probably was a writer. He produced it, and his entire family's in it. But also it's. Maybe I just have a really different Jewish existence than a lot of people. The whole setting's kind of insane.
What is it?
Like they have all these kids going to this Hebrew school. It's like a Jewish school. I think it's just like their school, and it's like all Jewish. And so in her class, all the kids they have an entire class devoted to getting ready for their bat mitzvah and bar mitzvahs.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So they have that Sarah Sherman's in it, and she's really funny and cringy. But also what I like about it is it has the most Latino and Asian Jewish representation I've seen in anything.
Really?
Yeah. Like obviously a lot of, since Adam Sandler's family, there's a lot of white characters still.
Yeah.
But there's one of the main characters, the best friend of Adam Sandler's daughter is Latina. And her dad also participates in in the bat mitzvah, like everyone is so involved and there's like a lot of diversity in there.
That's fun.
It kind of reminded me of like my sister's old synagogue, because there were definitely a good chunk of the membership there was East Asian and South Asian too. So I don't know. I just really liked seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it didn't even talk about it, didn't address it. It was just like, yeah, there's all kinds of Jews.
I see.
You know.
Yeah.
So recommend.
Nice. I'll give it a watch. Well, I think with sorry, I didn't mean to look at my watch as soon as I saw. Just that's all you see on camera.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's probably where we're gonna end this week.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot for listening about our production stuff.
Yeah, more to come. We're getting into something else, but
Definitely more to come.
we'll let you guys know how the hopeful end of TrainREC goes.
Yeah,
this
let's see if I
weekend.
can nail this week.
Oh, go do.
Shout out to Belgium. 1.
Shout out to Belgium.
Go check out Gabagool Pictures, Rainbow Films, and follow Recollection Film 2024 on Instagram.
That's not what it's called. You were
Fuck.
so close.
Really? Did I fuck it up?
You called it Recollection Short Film. That's what it's
Follow
called.
Recollection Short Film on Instagram. We didn't really talk about it on this podcast, but
It's getting real.
we will update a bunch of stuff. It'll be more and more real as the year ends. So yeah.
Yeah, exciting.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.